Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Soul Seekers podcast, where we believe that hunting has the power to transform lives through primal adventure as we share our mission of mentorship is conservation. To learn more about everything we do, check out our show on Carbon TV or go to soulseekersnation.com. Freedom on, everybody, and stay soulful. This podcast is also proudly brought to you by Onyx Hunt. When I first got into hunting, I kept hearing all about public land and different access and how to find different locations to hunt. I was like, well, how are people even identifying all this stuff? Well, sure enough, I came across the number one hunting GPS app, and that is Onyx Hunt. If you guys want to get better at hunting and go deeper into your scouting, Onyx Hunt is the number one GPS app for that. Join the millions of hunters who trust Onyx Hunt to find more game, discover new access, and hunt smarter. It was a game changer for me, and I know it's going to be a game changer for you if you've never used it. If you have used it, you know the power that it holds. Guys, I really hope you enjoy this episode. If you want to know more about Onyx, go to onyxmaps.com/hunt and check out their app. Be blessed, freedom on, and stay soulful. All right, guys, if you're in the market for a new hunting rifle this coming year, look no further than a Kelbley's rifle. I've been rocking their Coda rifle for the last couple seasons, and I've had great success with it. It's an amazing shooter, and every time I put one of their rifles in somebody's hands, they're like, oh, I got to get one of these. Kelbley's holds over 92 world and national records that are either broken or set on one of their actions or rifles. So they really set a higher level of accuracy. If you want to know more about Kelbley's rifles, go to kelbley.com. That's KELBLY.com. Tell them Johnny Mack sent you with Soul Seekers, and go enjoy shooting that much more in this coming hunting season. Be blessed, everybody. Go check out Kelbley Rifles. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Soul Seekers podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Mack, and today I am bringing you an episode dedicated towards conservation, dedicated to the recruitment, reactivation, and renewal of all those hunters out there and all the people that need to be hunters and need to learn the skill set to continue on providing sustenance for themselves, their family, and those that they're in community with. Remember, no one is coming to save you, so you got to learn to save yourself. And in order to save yourself, that means being able to provide food for yourself. And so, without further ado, we got Jim Curcuruto of Outdoor Stewards of Conservation Foundation. We're going to be talking a lot about what their plan is and how they view hunting and the recruitment, reactivation, renewal of all these wonderful things that we got going on. And this episode's dedicated to all of you because we need to be aware that we are the first line of defense. We are the first line of defense, and it's how we speak, it's how we show up, it's how we act, it's how we be an ambassador for hunting. Just like you like to spread the gospel of potentially your religion or the good news or whatever, we need to spread the gospel of hunting. And it starts with you, it starts with me, and all of us. So Jim, my brother, thank you for coming on, dedicating some time for here at all of us at Soul Seekers Nation. Brother, I really appreciate it. I want you to know that your work does not go in vain or void, and that there are people out there fighting the good fight, and it starts with you as well. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Johnny. Hey, you're hitting on all the type of things that we are passionate about here at Outdoor Stewards, and a couple of those key words, right? You talked about all that we like doing and enjoy doing, but one of those things that we don't do so great is communicate. So definitely appreciate being here on the show and communicating to those folks and maybe giving little tips on how to activate them to, spread the good word on all the cool stuff they're doing.
Yeah, I would love to hear that. I love to hear that. I've interacted with quite a few people over the years because my mission is mentorship, is conservation. If you want hunting to last for generations to come, you got to invest in the hearts and lives of other people. Well, investing in the hearts and lives of other people is challenging at times, right? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. The idea that you can encourage everybody to be pro Second Amendment and invest in firearms or get out hunting or be active and speak actively is awesome. But sometimes it feels like we're casting our pearls to swine, using a biblical reference right there.
Right.
But what's your take and outlook on on hunting and the
All
nation
right.
and all this?
Well, I've got kind of a part two to you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. We are at the point where we take the horse's head and stick it in the trough and keep it there. They're either going to drink or they're going to drown. And obviously, I'm talking about hunters, not horses. There's some scary things going on right now that, we're losing the communication battle. We're losing cultural acceptance of hunting. And we know the response. We've just got to activate those hunters. And we've got, 15 million active hunters out there that are participating on an annual basis, a larger number than that consider themselves hunters that don't hunt every year. So we've got, what we call the Orange Army is ready. We just got to send the troops forward with these messages,
Yeah.
and they're the ones that gotta pull the trigger.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. How long have you been a hunter?
Well, I'll be 54 here coming up, so probably pushing 50 years, which is, pretty scary stuff. But grew up hunting with my father, and he's 82, and he's probably got, a good 20 more years hunting than I do. So, I still enjoy going out there with him, and now with the next generation, my boys and stuff. And, but that's the traditional path, right? And
Yeah.
we know that there's a big opportunity to get folks that, didn't grow up with that opportunity, to get them activated into hunting at an adult age as well. Because, our research has shown that there's millions of people on the fence that want to get into the field.
Yes.
So, we've got two magic words that can solve that problem too.
Well, I mean, lay it on us because um, I want to know all about it. Time is of the essence, so let's get
Right.
started.
Well, yeah, the easiest way that we've found to recruit the next generation of we call hats, hunters, anglers, trappers, and shooters. And, we're focusing here, of course, on hunting, but I was the research director for National Shooting Sports Foundation, which is a trade association for the firearms and ammunition industry from 2009 to 2021. And as I was conducting research over the years, millions of dollars worth of research, kind of leading the way in a lot of aspects for the industry. But we would always ask, when we were doing consumer studies, sneak in a question here or there about what's the best way to get you started. If you had expressed an interest in hunting, but you haven't done so yet. And by far, not even there, I don't even remember what the second place is, but number one way to activate those new folks is to have an existing hunter, Johnny or Jim, invite somebody new to come with them. Invite your neighbor and the folks next to you, that have expressed an interest at church, a coworker, whatever that case may be. And I think you know this better than anybody, man. Like, you're waiting for that come with that invitation. And not only does it feel good as someone getting invited, but inviting someone and watching them learn a new skill is damn, it's very rewarding, like more rewarding than going out and doing it for my 51st year, by myself.
Yeah,
Like I just enjoy teaching people.
yeah, yeah. It is really interesting, like what you said. Just invite somebody. I understand. Hunting is so inherently selfish, and yet, in order for us to make sure it lasts, we need to not be selfish. We need to be
Right.
selfless. And I had uncles who hunted, like distant cousins that hunted. No one ever asked me if I wanted to hunt. No one. And I was, I always wanted to, and I don't understand. I don't understand why people didn't say, "Hey, you
Right.
obviously have an interest in the outdoors. Do you want to try this?" No one ever
Right.
taught. No one ever took me shooting. No one taught me firearm safety.
Right.
None of that. And granted, I grew up in Western Washington, which is more of a, modern day now times is a liberal, anti two-way area of the United States. But back in the early '90s, it was a red purplish state. It wasn't full
Right.
blue. So, question is, if it number one way to get people started into hunting is to invite somebody,
Right.
then what are the excuses that people are making up to not invite people?
I think the first and foremost is they don't know they don't know that the hunting's declining, right? We're aging out. I looked at all the statistics and like probably closer than anybody for 11 years. Worked with all state DNRs, went to every Association of Fish and Wildlife conference and every Wildlife Management Institute conference that was full of state wildlife agency directors and biologists, and talked about hunting. And we don't have perfect data on participation in hunting, but best available data showing long-term trend on slow decline, leveling off, but certainly not keeping up with the population increase of the United States, right? We may have had 15 million hunters 20 years ago, but we had 280 million people. Now we got 320 million people. So, we've got to inform that the existing hunters out there, hey, replace yourself, right? And the other thing they don't know is how good of a feeling it is to teach somebody new, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the best. If you've been doing it, your whole life with your small group, that's a great feeling too. But man, teaching somebody new, and it's not for everybody, but those listening that have kind of considered it, think about and using those two key words, which are come with. Do you want to come with me when I go out scouting this weekend? You want to come with me when I go shed hunting? You want to come with me and learn about, wildlife management. Teach people that. And, what you had said is also an issue as well. If you happen to be listening to the podcast or have an interest, but nobody's asked you, don't be afraid to say, hey, Johnny, Jim, can I come with you? Those two key words, come with. Man, you're going to get a lot of people say, yeah, heck yeah, man, I'd love to bring you with me. But, I'm not making excuses for hunters, but, we do need to inform them on the feeling they're going to get being a mentor, and also, the opportunity to replace themselves. And it's, different. Obviously, everybody's got a different situation. Some people, down south have too much land and too many deer. And some people out west, might not have as many places to go or as many opportunities. So we're not asking every hunter. We don't want to double. We don't want to go from 15 million to 30 million in a year. But those, state wildlife agencies are looking for a slow and steady increase, 1.5% a year. They're not looking to inundate the woods and, take people's last spots or anything like that. I know there's a little underground murmur of a couple hunters that don't want new hunters out there because that's my spot. I've been hunting that 15,000 acres of public land, and that's mine. Well, it's not really yours, but we get it. Nobody's trying to put too many hunters on the landscape either. Just like biologists manage for wildlife populations, now those state DNRs have marketers that are managing hunters to have the right carrying capacity for land. I mean, it's an interesting topic to see where it goes for now. But we got to promote that feeling that you get being a mentor.
Yeah, carrying capacity is an interesting one when you think about the growth of hunting, and land only has so much carrying capacity for animals. It also can only have so much carrying capacity for hunters as well.
Correct. Yep.
But the issue is, and I've had this conversation with people who are anti-growing hunting. I was like, well, competition breeds success, right?
Sure.
Like you want to be successful in notching tags in hunting, you're going to have to learn and go be better at your craft so that you can continue to be successful even when there is more people out. One of the questions I want to ask you revolves around different regions of the United States. So I grew up in Washington. I cut my teeth on Western big game hunting, public lands, and this idea of like, just kind of go wherever, and you have to find the animals because they're not concentrated in one area. Then I moved to Texas, and it's majority private.
Right.
Animals are everywhere. But now we're talking about access. So when it comes to the recruitment of hunters, is it easier to recruit hunters for Western big game, or is it more like the whitetail woods of the South, the East, and the Midwest?
Right.
Because I know I moved to Texas 2 years ago, and I know there's a lot of people from California and other regions that moved to Texas, and they need to know how to hunt because a lot of Texans, they don't realize, and I've had this conversation with a few people, they don't realize that hunting's under attack all over the place and that it will come to Texas,
Sure.
especially with the influx of people that don't hunt.
Right.
What research or info do you have on that?
Sure. Well, the good thing about hunting, right? You've got dozens and dozens of species that you can go after, from squirrel to fox to, varmints, and even hog hunting is, a good thing to get. But my favorite way to get people involved is pheasant hunting. Now I'm in Connecticut. We're not known for a mecca of hunting, right?
Right.
But our DNRs have got, you know, 30 or 40 different locations that they stock, put thousands of birds out there, most of which you don't need a permit for. You can just show up and, walk your dog and get out there. And we've been, a friend of mine, we've been bringing people with us all the time. First time, they just want to walk around, watch that dog work. That dog is a key recruitment tool for sure. So
Mm-hmm.
that upland hunting is awesome. I also do a lot of waterfowl hunting, and waterfowl hunting, is fun as well. I'm not going to pick the minus 10-degree day in the sleet to take somebody new, right?
Right.
But you've got that opportunity, to talk and discuss and throw out the decoys and move around a little bit. When you hear some, geese coming, you can be quiet and let them. You're always not always, but you're going to have a good opportunity to at least see some game. Maybe a Western big game hunt or a deer hunt. It's probably not the best thing to take somebody first for. Like, if they've never hunted, they pass their hunter ed class and, all right, throw on this 50-pound pack and we're going to hike in about 10 miles. Right? Yeah, let's think about, their experience too,
Right. Right. Well, that's a very interesting perspective because I I th- I want to say the majority of people who are resistant to mentoring new hunters are resistant because they think of hunting as deer hunting.
Right. Yeah. And
You know,
elks. And yeah.
big game hunting. They're like, "Oh,
Correct.
well, I only get 1 week off and I've been waiting all year for this. The last thing I want to do is to have a tag along that I have to keep an eye on or could bust my hunt or,
Right. Right.
where in other states, the seasons are a lot longer or, different animals are available throughout the year. Such, Texas is beautiful because hog hunting, you don't even need a hunting license
Right.
to hunt year round on private property down here. It's like, okay, it's a great opportunity. You can still teach somebody how to break down an
Right.
animal. It doesn't have to just be a deer or an elk.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
If it has 4 legs, go shoot a raccoon, and you can still
Sure.
gutless method it and teach what back straps are and how to take quarters off, and you
Yeah.
know, do a little
Yeah.
science class.
But I think, a couple things that we all have in common, whatever your opinion is on recruiting somebody, is, promoting those positive contributions of hunters. And there's many of them, right? You mentioned the food aspect of it. We can feed ourselves, our family, our friends. But not only that, when the opportunity arises to manage, a property correctly, or you have an extra tag, but your freezer is full and you harvest an extra, 100-pound doe, there's a big network of Hunters for the Hungry or those type of organizations out there. The NRA just started National Wild Game Meat Donation Month, I think last November, and they'll be having that every November. But they had done some research that showed millions and millions of pounds, millions and millions of meals of protein were donated to help solve the hunger crisis in America. And really, there's no other group that's providing that much protein on a donation basis to help solve the hunger crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Great message, but you never hear hunters talking about it. So that's something I think for hunters to look into a little bit more information and get involved in that National Wild Game Meat Donation Month. And again, it doesn't have to be a deer, but those hogs down in Texas are a great example. I was down there, did a hunt, and we were fortunate enough to have Jesse from the Meat Eater Group and Die Dewey Restaurant come and cook up some hog for it. It was unbelievable, right? I mean, if you've never eaten hog, you just need to know how to cook it, right? And you can make some great meals out of that as well. So telling the story about sharing the harvest, we're not taxing the food supply chain because we can go get our own food, whether that's catching a trout or bringing home 80 pounds of, you know, local, sustainable, organic, hormone-free venison, right? So we've
Yeah.
got that opportunity. We've got to tell that story. Secondly, we also want to explain the fact that we are, conservationists. We enjoy having clean environments, and we're typically not the litter bugs. We like to manage our own property, and when we're outdoors on, other properties, we typically clean up the lands, right? We don't throw a plastic water bottle, but we'll pick up a plastic water bottle as we're traipsing through the woods and waters. And of course, the big one to promote is being the primary funders of conservation in America. Fish and wildlife conservation is funded through hunters and anglers and trappers and shooters at a rate of $3.6 billion a year, $10 million a day. And that comes from the purchase of hunting and fishing license, as well as excise tax products like guns, ammo, bows, arrows, rods, reels, and lures. That money gets filtered down to your local state Department of Natural Resource. They're all the biologists, making sure populations are healthy, buying land for more access for you hunters and anglers, building boat ramps for more access for you duck hunters and anglers out there. So that's about 70% of the state wildlife agency's budgets in many cases. So imagine losing 70% of that, revenue. You're going to wipe out your state DNRs. Nobody's going to be able to manage wildlife populations. No more land to be purchased. So we play a very, very important role in funding conservation, but most people don't know it. Forget about the general population. The hunters themselves don't know it as much, but we do have an answer to that here at Outdoor Stewards coming up in the near future on helping promote that message.
Well, let's talk about that message here, because I just got back from a family road trip to the Florida Keys. And when I was driving from Texas to Florida, I saw multiple billboards and even TV commercials that said, "Take a kid fishing."
Right.
And I looked at those and I appreciated it. And I was disappointed and saddened at the same time, because it's easy. Well, it's not taking kids fishing isn't easy when they're tangling lines and you're going through that process, but it's easier to take a kid fishing.
Sure.
It's not as easy to take a kid hunting, but yet at the same time, it's like, why aren't there the whole, hey, don't forget to take a kid hunting. Don't forget to teach a kid how to shoot a gun, right? Like, people wouldn't be so scared of guns if we taught more gun safety at younger ages.
Right.
Right. I come from as a school educator background, and I had to fight to get archery in my school. And when I brought up the idea of pellet guns and shooting in my school, I got like, let's just say I don't work there anymore. But not because of that, but because I realized, I was like, man, these people that are anti-hunting are also anti a lot of other things. And it's they want big daddy government to take care of you rather than do you have your own skill set and knowledge, and it's disappointment. But back to the whole take a kid fishing. I loved the ideas of the billboards, but I was saddened that there was no take a kid hunting.
Right. So the way that works, and fishing is funded the same way hunting is. On hunting, we have the Pittman-Robertson Act, which gets about $1 billion a year in excise taxes on guns and ammo. Fishing, I want to say around $400 million a year through the Dingell-Johnson Act. But on the fishing side, they take $15 million or so, cut that out, and an organization called Recreational Boating and Fishing Foundation takes that $15 million and does nationwide marketing campaigns that promote the positive messages for fishing and boating. And that's where those signs are coming. They have them in Spanish, vamos a pescar, let's go fishing, take me fishing. But they're doing a terrific job, and you're going to see more and more videos, animated videos from that organization, as well as the American Sport Fishing Association. Now, even though they don't pay nearly as much excise taxes on fishing product as we do on guns and ammo for hunters and target shooters, we do not cut out $15 million for. There's no money, virtually no money out of that $1 billion that goes to national marketing campaigns. It's actually a massive pet peeve of mine, and there's some work behind the scenes to try to cut off a piece of that and move that into that. So we can have those billboards and those social media campaigns that promote, come with and take someone, out to the woods. And, so that's a big challenge. But, in the immediate future, that's not as big because that's an act of Congress to do that. But we at Outdoor Stewards are excited to announce that the fall of 2024, we've developed a public service announcement that's going to be distributed to 11,000 radio and television stations with it's either 60-second TV commercial that's going to be cut into 45, 30, and 15-second spots for both radio and TV. And those 11,000 station managers can decide to pick it up and play it nationwide, different from Pandora to cable channels to whatever, it can be played anywhere, radio, TV. And the message is going to be about, we are America's original and most invested conservationists. Our funding has led to millions of acres of wildlife that can be enjoyed by everybody.
Uh-huh.
Like, cleaner water and fresher air. We're the ones that help fund those type of things through wildlife management and conservation, working with state wildlife agencies. And then after all that, it says at the end, we are America's 60 million hunters and target shooters. So, and then for more information, you go to this website. So we're excited about that. And, that's pilot, right? Phase 2 would be then billboard, social media with, that type of message, as well as the recruitment messages. So very excited to get that off the ground and see where that leads us. We've got obviously some noise coming up here this fall with the presidential election, but we'll see if we can't get a few eyeballs and a few ears listening to what we've got to say. And it's the general population, right, which is important. They've never been reached before with this message.
Right. It's not the preaching to the choir, because that is important when it comes to the defense of hunting. We need to make sure that we advocate that so that ballot box biology doesn't get taken over.
Right.
But we need to reach people who have not been exposed to hunting. Maybe they don't live next to a guy who is cooking wild game out on his back porch all the time and saying, "Hey man, you want to try some of this?"
Right.
Yeah, that's interesting. What does your gut feeling say about these station managers that have the choice of whether to or to not pick up and run these ads? What's your thought on that?
I think it's going to be something they've never seen before. I mean, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the Nature Conservancy, had some PSAs in the past. We're working with a company that knows how to distribute them. They distribute about $1 billion worth of PSAs a year, from Red Cross to Wounded Warriors. So they know what they're doing. They know who the station managers are. If that station manager is, open-minded, or is a hunter or an angler themselves, they may pick it up. But I'm a research nerd, and I love the fact that every Friday I'm going to get a Nielsen report with just same company that does Nielsen ratings for TV that is going to tell me who picked it up, how many impressions it got, and then we can calculate the earned media. We're projecting about 300 million impressions and $5 million in earned media from this first pilot effort. So, once we do that, we go back to the industry and tell them what we've done and show them what we've done and see the return on the investment that we can get. And that's when we want to, turn it from a pilot into a full-time, full-fledged big media campaign that can promote those positive messages that we need to get out there. You talked about ballot box biology and activating the hunters, but we can kind of long run, right? If the general population says, "Oh, you know what? Hunters feed the hungry," and that's a huge one, right? Hunters are helping solve the homeless crisis. I didn't know you did that. Hunters fund conservation, like where I go hiking, and when I see that deer, that's because of hunters. Like, I didn't know that, so that could help lead to, no more ballot box biology in the future. But man, if we do not take control of it, that ballot box biology is going to, like you see in Colorado, it's going to be a massive, massive issue moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Man, I'm really excited for the horizon of
Yeah.
what's to come. This election season is going to be pivotal in the turning point of America and
Right.
what this world looks like from here on out. And I'm excited because it's an opportunity for people to truly self-reflect, to look in the mirror and be like, all right, what do I want my life to look like? What do I want my community to look like? Obviously, I can't sit on the sidelines anymore. I have to get
Right.
active. I have to get involved. I have to speak up. You know, the, you know, Dr. Niemöller, Pastor Niemöller from back in World War II, first they came for the trade unionists, and I wasn't a trade unionist, so I didn't say anything. Then they
Right.
came for the gypsies, and I wasn't a gypsy, so I didn't say anything. Then they came for the Jews, and I wasn't a Jew, so I didn't say anything. Then they came for me, and there's no one left to speak.
Right. Yeah. Scary stuff. Yeah.
We cannot give in and be passive. The time for passivity is gone.
Right. And
Rally
we
your
should be
troop.
proud of what we've done and promote it and tell people.
Yeah.
Social media is a good way to do that. We distribute, biodegradable, reusable bags through a program called Fill a Bag While Filling Your Tag. We've distributed over 100,000 of them with partners like Fiocchi Ammunition and Ruger and Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Alabama DNR just is distributing those bags to their customers. But the goal is to take those bags, pick up that mylar balloon, snap a photo, put it on your social media so your friends and family can see while you're out hunting, you're also cleaning up the environment, which you're doing naturally. You're just not telling anybody about it. So this is a great opportunity. Hey, I got my trophy trash. I found this plastic bottle in the woods while I was out there hunting. Didn't see any game, but I'm cleaning up the environment as I go. And those are the message that we should be proud of, and we should tell people about it because they will make a difference. They will change perceptions.
You know what? That is so true. You are right. Like, yeah, we pick up trash, but we don't say anything. It's time to
Yeah.
start highlighting and celebrating the small wins, such as, there's so many people like, oh, yeah, it's my birthday, but I didn't want to tell anyone. Like, no, let us celebrate you. We will celebrate with you. Just, we got to know these things,
Right.
and then it looks like you're not as isolated or alone or on an island. There are people who want to
Right.
stand with you and are willing to journey with you.
Yep. Yep. Good stuff, man. Looking forward to it myself.
Man, I love it. Jim, what's on the horizon for outdoor stewards? Obviously, this PSA is huge. When
Right.
should people expect to see this start popping up in their markets?
We're hoping by September of 24. That's when it should get distributed. And this first time I'm doing it, first time that I know of anybody that's doing it. So I'm not sure how long it'll, take effect to get out there and start being played. But we're also going to provide that link to all the, the videos and the radio and TV cuts that we have to all of our connections. So my board, you've actually had Peter Churchborn from the NRA on your show before. We've got Jennifer Wisniewski from National Deer Alliance. Just a great board that's got a lot of connections. I've been in the industry 15 years, so we're going to distribute that PSA links to all of our manufacturing partners, all of our retail partners, all of our media partners. And you should be seeing it there, but hopefully one day, when you're driving down the road and comes on the radio, or if you're watching TV and it comes on TV, you're like, damn, that's it. And once you do get that link, if it's in a newsletter from NWTF or Outdoor Stewards, or you see it on Ruger's website, put it on your Facebook page, share that message, because we just need that to get out there to as many folks as possible. And we can't reach a hunter's friends and family, but that hunter can take that message and put it on their Instagram account and reach their friends and family for us.
Yeah, yeah. The power of ownership, right? We as hunters need to own this and then
Right.
just blast it out there for the
Right.
world. Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff for sure. We've also got some new research coming out. I'm actually heading to present at the NRA Range Development Conference here on welcoming new shooters. Right, there's a influx of new gun owners out there. 20 plus million new gun owners over the past 4 or 5 years since COVID. Most of them buying semi-automatic handguns for personal protection. They're not really recruited into becoming recreational target shooters on a regular basis. Many of them don't look like you and I, white guys with beards, right? So there's a diverse audience that now are new gun owners. We need to welcome them, into the recreational target shooting and all the fun that and opportunities that has. So we're working on, with some of our partners on the state side and on the industry side to get the message out to be more inclusive and, expand the ranks of not only target shooters and hunters, but, anglers and trappers as well. So we'll be busy over the next couple of years doing that.
I love it. What call to action do you have for our listeners today?
I think the best thing you can do, if you have ever had an inclination, is to ask somebody to come with you, right? That's the first and foremost thing. And it's not, it's not only for them or for increasing hunting, but it's for you, that hunter that, man, I'm telling you, you're gonna, when they turn around and smile after, harvesting their first animal, you are going to get tingles. Like I'm tingling, like just not talking about it because I've done it so many times. Do that. Also, pay attention to the ballot box. I mean, you would be surprised how many local ordinances or anti-gun legislation is out there. There's great groups like HOWL.org and Sportsman's Alliance that are keeping you appraised of what's going on, and pay attention, get a little bit more involved. If you see something that you don't like, say something, right? I mean, I heard somebody use that slogan already, see something, say something, but it's applicable to hunters as well.
Yeah.
And, Outdoor Stewards of Conservation has got a lot of information on our website, outdoorstewards.org, and follow us on Instagram at Outdoor Stewards, and you can kind of keep track of what we're doing. But just get out there, have fun, stay safe, promote the positive contributions that you're doing.
Heck yeah. I just want to highlight one of the articles that you guys have on your website real quick. It is proliferation of hunting with the AR platform. I love that because when I first started hunting, my first hunting rifle was an AR.
Right.
And I had an AR in 223 that I was like, I'm going to go coyote hunting with. And then I ended up getting one in 308 for big game hunting.
Right.
And so that is a great resource because, knowledge and how we use that knowledge is powerful and can make a difference. So,
yeah, it's a terrific platform, for various uses for sure, but gaining popularity among the hunting community for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Brother, thank you so much for coming on, sharing your knowledge, your wisdom, and your passion for protecting and ensuring hunting lasts for generations to come. You are fighting the good fight, and I just want to thank you, and I want to support you on your journey as we all are working on making a difference. Remember, everybody, it's up to you. It's up to me. It's up to us. Don't wait for somebody else to take action. Don't wait for someone else to speak up. Courage is contagious. Be the courageous one, and you're going to set this world ablaze with your passion and your love. Be an ambassador for hunting, spread the gospel, and let's go make a difference. For Johnny Mack and Jim Curcuruto of Outdoor Stewards of Conservation, did I nail that?
You nailed it. I appreciate it. Man. I appreciate being on.
I got to say, your last name is probably one of the most difficult ones that I've pronounced on this podcast before, but thank you. Guys, go check out outdoorstewards.org, outdoorstewards.org. Go check out what they got going on. Be an ambassador for hunting. Remember, hunting has the power to transform lives through primal adventure, and that you can never outgive good, as mentorship is conservation. For Johnny Mack here at Soul Seekers, be blessed, everybody. Freedom on, and stay soulful. If you enjoyed today's podcast and want to support the show, you can always like, share, subscribe, and leave a rating as it helps us share our mission of mentorship is conservation. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of Soul Seekers Nation as we transform lives through primal adventure. If you want to get more connected with the podcast, check out the Soul Seekers Nation Facebook group as I look forward to connecting with you on the next episode. So stay tuned and stay soulful.